Friday, June 26. Here's what today's story could mean for the Korean market.
Yeah.
We're seeing this really fascinating parallel move today.
Yeah, from both Samsung and SK Hynix, they're both suddenly, rapidly building these massive dedicated M&A organizations this week.
Right, which is huge.
It is a massive signal, for anyone watching capital flows right now. The AI memory supercycle has just generated this incredible mountain of cash for these chip giants.
So they have all this leverage.
Exactly, and we're seeing them use it to shift gears. They're pivoting away from just inward equipment investment, like buying machines, and moving toward, aggressive outward capital deployment.
Okay, wait, let me make sure I've got this. It's kind of like a farmer who, just had this massive bumper crop, and instead of going out and buying more tractors for his own land, he decides he's just going to buy the neighbor's entire farm outright.
Yeah, that is spot on. That is the exact dynamic. And if you look at the scale, it's pretty wild. SK Hynix is taking their growth strategy division and scaling it from 10 people to around 60 staff.
Oh, wow, a six-fold increase.
Right, and they aren't just hiring standard corporate analysts. They are aggressively recruiting international lawyers who specialize specifically in cross-border deals.
I mean, it makes total sense. If you're a Korean tech giant going shopping across borders, you're going to hit antitrust walls. You need that legal firepower.
You absolutely need it before you make a move. And Samsung is doing the same thing. They just created this new corporate development group.
Where are they getting their people from?
They are pulling heavy-hitting talent straight from the big three, McKinsey, BCG, and Bain.
So they're bringing in the top-tier consultants.
Yeah, primarily to handle the integration. Merging corporate cultures is tough, and the financial base they're working from is just staggering. Guide is actually projecting a combined 232 trillion won in operating profit for both companies.
Wait, 232 trillion won? So that's what, around 165 billion US dollars?
Roughly, yeah, just between 2026 and 2028. So that forms this massive financial base for really large acquisitions.
That is just an unbelievable amount of cash to deploy. But, this whole theme of industrial capital deployment, it's not just happening in tech, it's playing out on the water too.
Right, HMM is a perfect example of this. They just hit a record Q1 ship investment of 1.571 zillion won.
Which is about $1.1 billion, right?
Exactly. And get this, that is 85% of their entire 2025 outlay spent in just 3 months. They went ahead and ordered 10 new vessels for 1.6641 trillion won, so about 1.2 billion USD.
That is incredibly aggressive. Why blow so much of the budget so early?
Well, for you as an investor, it really comes down to structural earnings stability. They are pushing their bulk carrier fleet share up to 38.6%.
Right, because bulk contracts are different from container shipping.
Yeah, they're much longer term and way less volatile than container rates. So they're basically using this cash to stabilize their future earnings and rewire their risk profile.
Buying stability to protect the bottom line. Which kind of brings us back to Samsung, but in a totally different arena.
Oh, the TV scores.
Yeah. Consumer Reports just gave Samsung's 77-inch OLED a 91 out of 100, which puts it in the top position. But let me push back here for a second. We're talking about $100 billion M&A war chests. Does a TV review score actually move the needle for a mega stock like Samsung?
I mean, directly on a single size level, probably not. But it fundamentally anchors their consumer electronics premium. They are in a brutal fight against LG and some really aggressive Chinese competitors who undercut on price.
So it's entirely about defending those profit margins.
Exactly. And we're seeing that same premium defense strategy today at the Busan Mobility Show, actually, with Hyundai and Kia battling Chinese EV makers like BYD.
Right. It's all about defending the moat. So looking at all these moves, what is the core takeaway for the market today?
The simultaneous scaling of M&A teams at Samsung and SK Hynix is the primary hook to watch, as this historically precedes re-rating cycles in Korean tech stocks shifting toward acquisition-driven growth. For industrial flows, HMM's aggressive bulk carrier expansion offers a clear catalyst for earning stability away from volatile container rates. Across both sectors, the flow direction points toward heavyweights aggressively deploying surplus capital to fundamentally restructure their long-term earnings profiles.
It really leaves you pondering. With war chests that size, what specific AI hardware or robotics target are these newly supercharged M&A teams going to acquire first? That's today's AI Prism, Stock Investors. This episode was produced with AI assistance based on Seoul Economic Daily reporting and reviewed by a human editor. AI